Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Getting to Know You with John Metz. Today, we have a special guest, Dillon Ambrose, who is, I don't know, Dillon, are you the president? Are you the chair of Parish?
Chair of the Pastoral Council.
Chair of the Pastoral Council, not like emperor, it's chair.
No, nothing so grand, and certainly not powerful like that.
Okay, well, I don't know. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Very good. Thank you. Thanks for doing this interview with me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Great. My first question for you is basically tell me about you. Tell me who you are, and maybe there's possibly something that the parish doesn't know about you.
Okay, great. I grew up here in Milwaukee. I met my wife Molly at Marquette University, and we been dating and then got married after that. After law school, I'm a lawyer. Molly and I moved to various places throughout the world with the United States Navy, and eventually, after getting out of active duty, we were living in D.C. and we moved back to Milwaukee, where I'm from, and we've been members of St. Sebastian ever since. We have 4 kids: Jack, Kate, Evelyn, and Archibald. The oldest, Jack, is a sophomore at Marquette High, and he did grades 1 through 8 at St. Sebastian. Kate's in 8th grade, Evie's in 6th grade, and Archie's in 2nd. So that's kind of the rundown of the bio. Something about me that people may not know. Well, I'm a shareholder at Davison Kilthau law firm downtown, but this last year and this upcoming year, I've been recalled to active duty because I'm a reservist. So I'm working for the Navy down in Great Lakes. During COVID times, they've allowed me to work out of the Reserve Center here in Milwaukee. And a side hustle that I have, and you see my hat that I'm wearing. I know you're aware of this, John, but
I have my hat right here too.
Perfect. We are going to make this a commercial. But Molly and I launched a new product, invention, just this last July called the Box Raider. It's a box wine aerator. So if you're familiar with aeration of wine, it really gives oxygen to wine, mostly tannic reds, and does a nice job to open it up when that's been pent up in a bottle or in a box in this case. And so what I've done is developed a way to put aeration onto a box of wine. And to really go crazy, this is what it looks like. So I think you're getting a glare there, but that's the Box Raider. Essentially, it hangs from a box of wine and aerates it.
Yeah, it's cool. I am an owner of the product. Also, I'm a plank owner, which is why I have this hat, which I believe gives me voting authority in the company, correct?
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take the hat off then. No, it's a cool invention. It's a lot of fun, and we've had a lot of fun supporting you in that endeavor. So thanks.
Thank you.
The transition to your active duty again, that has been, that was a pretty major decision, right? It was a pretty major change for you and your family.
Yeah, well, moving back to Milwaukee was certainly after I got out of active duty, I did a year clerking in DC for a judge, and normally you do clerking at the beginning of your legal career when you don't know a whole lot. And I did it in the middle, which was a great experience in many respects and kind of helped me transition into the civilian practice, litigation practice I am in. But I also was ready to practice law. So it was a good impetus for me to get back to practicing law and get back to Milwaukee. So but I'm still a reservist, and that was the right amount of Navy for me.
Yeah, but no, what I'm asking about is like the job you're currently doing. That was a shift this year, right?
Yeah, so in October, they had asked me to, if I would take a job. They were down a person. The person was supposed to take the job, but due to family emergency, she couldn't take it. So they were looking for somebody somewhat local. I had done the job in a reserve capacity before, so they asked me if I would do it. And I agreed to do it. My law firm was very good about it, so I'm very happy that they were they couldn't do anything about it because of certain laws, but they were very supportive and continue to be supportive.
I understand you probably didn't have a lot of choice in the matter, but that being said, I bring it up because I think in my capacity of knowing you, it does speak to your spirit that you're always kind of willing to do what's asked of you, and you have a generous spirit. So for whatever it's worth.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. My second question for you is, I was wondering if you could reflect a little bit on your faith and talk about your involvement in the parish. I know you're engaged in a lot of different aspects of parish life.
So I've always been a church-going Catholic, and throughout my life, though I would say that as an adult, because of the fact that we were moving around so much, I was reticent to get involved because making friends and doing things and then leaving within 3 years, because the Navy and any military life is 2 years here, 2 years there, 3 years there. I was reticent to get involved, and when we came to St. Seb's, I actually went to, I can tell you, but like I went to confession and kind of said, hey, listen, Father, for I've sinned, I think I feel guilty and bad because I'm not involved, and I haven't really participated like I should have. And he said, well, get involved. That was my penance. And so I joined the stewardship committee and was on the stewardship for a couple of years. And then I wouldn't say fleeted up, but I went up to the pastoral council and was there for, let's see, this is probably my fourth year, third year. This is my third year. I think I'm going on my fourth year. So, and the last two, I've been the chair. This last year and this year, I've been the chair of the pastoral council.
Can you talk a little bit about what council's doing, or kind of what some of your priorities have been working with council?
Well, I mean, just recently, we've had this COVID thing. Are you familiar?
I've heard of it, yes.
So once that started happening, there was a kind of rush to understand, how are we going to have Mass? How are we going to continue with our finances? And how are we going to, I think importantly, survive as a spiritual connection to our parishioners?
Yeah, those are all really big concerns. You're right. They were huge challenges for all parishes.
Yeah, and the parish already has some financial constraints and concerns before COVID, so it was a matter of trying to reach out and be the best parish that we could during that time frame. They did a nice job of pivoting quickly to virtual masses, and once we were ready to open up, we did a nice job of making sure that people are safe and parishioners are safe and feel as though they can go to Mass, those that should go to Mass and feel comfortable going to Mass, and also letting people know that don't feel comfortable going to Mass, that's all right. And I think Father Peter Patrick has done a real nice job of towing that line and telling people, hey, listen, I think a sermon maybe about 3 weeks ago was about faithfulness. And that's the focus on us as parishioners, and to remain faithful, and that's the most important thing. If you can't come to Mass, don't do so.
Yeah, I think that speaks to our priority of dignity of life too. Keeping people safe is an important part of that. So thanks for your leadership on the council. As a member, thank you.
My pleasure.
Awesome. My last question for you is talking about kind of your hopes for, you can take it either way, either for the parish or just for the world in general. As you look forward, what do you hope?
I'll take it from a parochial standpoint, because I think we certainly make changes at the local level, and that crops up, and I think that's a good way to look at it. It's really the only thing I can do, and we all can do, in order to make things better, is start at the local level and move forward until it builds momentum. Yeah. But I think the most important thing to do, and I'm not talking about in COVID times, I'm just talking about in general, is fill the pews. We've got to do a good job of bringing Catholics back, and also I think importantly is putting a bunch of young married couples, young single couples, young couples with kids in those pews, and make them feel comfortable there, and so that it's a self-generation of not only the parish but also the school. Is once you bring they're happy in the parish, then we try to make them happy with the school, and if they're in the school, it seems to be a revolving, they're going to be in church. So, I mean, that's the hope, is to fill the pews. I don't know necessarily the best way, and I think we struggle as a parish, and I think everywhere struggles, the Catholic Church struggles with this, maybe not so much in the very Catholic suburbs, but of trying to bring Catholics back into the church. I think it's more difficult because we have less Catholics in the city of Milwaukee, but that's what I love about St. Sebastian's. I mean, it has the ability to be the beacon of Catholicism on the west side of Milwaukee. We are the Milwaukee West Side Parish. And that's not a dig on St. Catherine's at all. I just feel as though, we're centrally located in the west, and we're a big church, and we can fill that church, and we should strive to fill that church.
Yeah, it's good. And I know you just said you don't have the answers, and I'll cut this out if this is a disaster, but let me pick your brain for a second. How do we evangelize to younger families? I mean, how do we, I agree with you. Like, we have plenty of space. So how do we engage people more? Any thoughts?
Well, I think it starts with what Margaret Lee is doing, is getting those younger people and making them engage. And I think she's doing a great job.
Yeah, I agree.
It starts with that, and then we gotta be able to get to the next level, which is the college age kid. So if we had somebody who taught theology at Marquette University, for instance, that could reach out and really grab those kids and make them feel as though that, what? Who's this guy? Who's this dynamic, great guy? I want to go to his church. That would be a step in the right direction.
Yeah, we should look for someone like that. That's a good idea.
In all seriousness, reaching out to Marquette, reaching out to UWM, and trying to bring those Catholics to the west side. I mean, we got fun little areas for young people in Milwaukee and Tosa, our North Avenue, our Valete, Tosa Village. So if we can bring them our way and put them in our pews and then keep them, I think that would be great, because if they're happy at St. Sebastian, why not keep your family there?
Yeah. Get them in the pews and then lock the doors.
That's exactly it.
It's interesting. I actually talk a lot about this. One of my new roles is working with young adults in the parish, and young adult ministry is always, it's an incredibly rewarding ministry. It's a really challenging ministry because you have young adults that are 18-year-old college students. You have young families with little kids that are totally priority, take up all of your energy. You've got growing families, and you've got, people that aren't married at all. That people are all across the board, is my point, at that stage in life. And so there's not a one size fits all approach that is good. What I think we can do is continue to be as welcoming as possible and as inviting as possible, and trying to meet people where they're at. Like I think you were alluding to with people's comfort level coming back to church. So I think in many ways, Sebs is primed to do that. We just have to, keep those efforts going.
And I think the stewardship is trying to do this, and I think they have tried to do it since I was on, and is also, get younger people involved. Try to make them feel welcome, but also get them involved, because once they take that investment, and I'm living proof of that. Once they take that investment, of being part of the parish and being part of, the council or that council or this committee or subcommittee or, any sort of involvement with the church, whether it be the farmers market or Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. I think once they get hooked, they're going to feel more invested in that parish, and they're going to feel like it's their parish.
Yeah,
I always be as transient.
I always feel like parish life has to start with community building. People have to feel like they are included, So that reminds me of when you said stewardship. I just wanted to ask you, can you just because we're recording this shortly after that outdoor mass, can you, I know you were involved in some of the planning of that. Just talk a little bit about that. That was a cool idea and a nice event.
Well, I'll give stewardship all credit on that, actually. What had happened was Mike Kaminsky and I and Brian Kirkpatrick had come up with a plan in the summer if we had to pivot to a summer or an outdoor mass. So we did some initial planning about what we had to do in that event. Really, it was just kind of a stewardship putting that into action. But they had to, they got ushers together, and they did a number of other things in order to kind of push that to make it happen. It was a very nice event. You were there.
you can give them credit. I saw you out there an hour before Mass with your roll of tape, making nice socially distant lines, keeping everybody safe. I saw you do that.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, everybody was socially distant without that tape, so I don't know if it's really necessary for me to put the time and duct tape use. You know, maybe a sustainability committee would have an issue with that.
It was no. It was the effort you put in that was appreciated. So. Hey, Dillon, I wanted to just say thank you so much. Thanks again for the service you do to the parish. And thanks for taking a few minutes to share a little bit about your story and your family's story and a little bit about your faith today. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And it's great to have you part of the staff. You're a great addition. And I think this is a good thing that you're starting and doing right here even. So
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dillon. Thank you. Blessings on your journey. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, John.
Thanks.